shirt on how to connect brand, not your brand. What is it? What's it? Why not brand? So everything is about branding today. We will talk about reputation management, revenue management as well, with the panelists and the specialists sitting next to me. I'm the co-founder of hoteliers.com. We have a stand there also further helping hotels to get more direct business. And here on my left hand, I have Arnaud Loos. He's the owner of Hospitality Skills. Next to Arnaud is Andreia. She is an analyst at Google. And next to Andreia is Gijs. And Gijs is the general manager of Pestana Hotel in Amsterdam. They can also shortly introduce themselves and of course what their relationship is with reputation management. But first I want to share a little bit of the in-depth interviews I had with hoteliers in the Netherlands. So for instance, I went to Rotterdam, and in Rotterdam I had an interview with Hotel Pinkhofs, Edwin van der Meijden. And he is the #1 TripAdvisor in Rotterdam. So I asked him, what are you doing right? And well, the example he gave is that storytelling was for him a big success. Every room in this hotel in Rotterdam has a story. And with this, he also defends his brand online. I also had an interview at the Soho House. I think everybody knows the Soho House. It's a unique concept. And they are creating a community. It's, for instance, not possible to book through an online travel agent. So only the members can book at Soho House. So this is also a quite extreme example how you can protect your brand online. And last but not least, I also had an interview with Michelle Sandbergen. She's the owner here in Amsterdam of Hotel de Kraftman. And Michelle was using a lot of Instagram because she has a very Instagrammable hotel. And what she also said is that she uses this brand identity for recruitment because a lot of people are searching for a job, for instance, are checking the social media, and you can also reconnect there with employees and make your hotel stand out. So this as a short introduction of myself and what I did as a preparation of this nice session. But first we go to you, Arnaud, to you. Can you tell a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
Yeah, my name is Arnaud Loos and I started my own business, Hospitality Skills, in which we help independent or individual hotels to do the revenue management or actually the whole financial optimization. Meaning that we're trying to help on the long and say more structural way to get better rates in and have less costs than just doing the rates up, down, minimum stay and those kind of things. For that nowadays we've got perfect programs and we want to go 1 or 2 steps further than that. So we're not only looking at what the rates are doing, but how can we get better direct sales, for instance, but also make sure that guests will have give us a good reputation and that in connection bring that back again to a better revenue management and better income and so on and so on.
Yeah, this will be very interesting to hear in the question later on what the relation is, for instance, through reputation management and revenue management, but you will tell a little bit more about it. Andreia, nice to have you also on this cozy couch. Can you tell a little bit about yourself and the relation to reputation management?
Yes. Hello? Can you hear me?
Normally it's on.
Very close.
I'm trying. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, not used to this. So my name is Andreia. I work as an analyst for Google. Sorry. And I've been working with the travel industry for the past 2 years, looking into market trends, helping our clients also, not only when it comes to search and how to look into bookings and direct traffic, but also on brand awareness and brand reputation and how we can actually help our clients to protect it online and also how to make the best use of Google products and use it also so for your benefit, sorry. for your benefit as well.
Well, good always to have Google on board. And of course, it's an impact for every hotel who is doing a lot of reservations online and getting in contact with the guests. So nice to hear you later on. Gijs, can you tell a little bit more about yourself?
Yes, of course. Good afternoon, first of all. I'm Gijs Wehkamp. I'm the general manager of Pestana Amsterdam Riverside, here located at the Amstel. I have 15 years experience in hotel operations and how to manage and train staff and making sure that you get the best return out of your guests and that they also share this online and offline and in the end come back to the properties.
Thank you as well. Well, we start with the questions. I think at the end of the session we have time as well to answer some questions from the audience. Just raise your hand and then we have Emma. I don't see her now. Ah, there she is. And she will go around with a microphone. So then we, as a specialist here, will answer the questions and hopefully you get some nice insights. So, Arnaud, like, is there a room price relation to reputation online?
Yeah, of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here, I guess.
Tell us.
No, well, it's absolutely clear from several researchers, but I think you as hotel managers or hotel owners absolutely know that as soon as, for instance, at booking you raise 1 point from, say, a 7.6 to an 8.6, or at Google and Expedia from 3.6 to a 4.6, it will increase the possibility to raise the price. On average, that means in the cities in the Netherlands, for instance, that at least 10 euros per room per night you will increase in your price. Yeah? And that depends on which hotel, depends on your own concept, it depends on how you do your pricing. But for sure, at least 10% you can increase your price year round and possibly also get more reservations. We'll come back to that later.
Yes, because what are the influencing factors in this?
Well, to give you an idea of the impact and how it actually works and goes around, you have to get in a certain spiral. So once you have better reviews, yeah, the guests or the visitors of your page or through the OTAs are willing to pay more. So the willingness to pay more because it's more trustworthy, they will be able to, and willing to pay 10, 20 euros per night extra. From that, it will come that you get more bookings. Getting more bookings meaning a better conversion. A better conversion at your OTAs means that you get a higher ranking. Once you've got a higher ranking, you get more visitors. And once you have more visitors, you can keep your price higher, but also for a longer period. Yeah, so where other hotels at a certain point will say, okay, I'm not filling up yet and the lead time for a certain period is over, I'm going to drop prices, you can still hold on to those prices. So we're talking not only here about raising the price and raising your top price in your top period, but it's actually more important to be able to get a good pricing and a good income in the low season or the shoulder season. And once that is going, then you, of course, generate more money from your room sales. And then after generating more money from your room sales, you can reinvest in better product, service, and therefore, again, lift up your quality and get a better quality price reviews.
Well, those are interesting insights and very motivating, of course. Are there any hotels here that are opening, so new openings, for instance, or renovations going on? Please raise your hand. Well, then it's not that interesting to talk about this. Because there are some, hey, there we have one. Maybe in the future you're opening a hotel or you're renovating, because are there specific strategies, I know, for these kind of hotels, what you need to be doing?
Absolutely. It is key, always key. And with every opening and every hotel I guide in this process, it is always key to start with, well, a 9.2 on Booking or a 4.5 at Expedia or Google. If you don't start directly on with a high ranking, say for instance you start with a mediocre ranking, then that moment you're already 2 steps behind. Yeah, say for instance you started booking with a, well, let's not go too low, 7.2. The trust of the guest to pay for your hotel and to book your hotel is lower. And you have to start to fight your way back up. Once you start with a 9.2, more guests will be, well, convenient or convinced that your rate is good and your price and your product is good, and therefore willing to stay at your hotel, book your hotel, and therefore your kickoff start is better. So it's very key to make sure that your price quality at the beginning is set in such a way that you directly kick off with a high review mark and take it from there.
Gijs, you are like general manager in a bigger hotel around the Amstel area here. Can you tell us a little bit more about reputation management in operations? Because we are talking about revenue management, more the online strategy, but there's a lot to do in the hotel, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. That's, I think, where most work is to do, because as a revenue manager, you can do as much as you want. If operations doesn't deliver according to the price, then you will never be able to get good reviews in return. What I always tell all my staff, no matter if they're a manager or a dishwasher, make sure you give every day your utmost best, but most importantly, that every guest leaves the hotel happy. That is the most important thing, because then they will share, then they will come back, and no topic should be left untouched. I always give a stupid example. If a waiter spills coffee over the saucer, and the guest is so upset about it that he wants to have his entire stay for free, it's okay for me if the receptionist or the waiter at that point says, okay, I'll waive your stay. Empowerment in this case is extremely important, because a guest has a problem and he wants the problem to be resolved. He doesn't want to speak to a manager. He wants that waiter or that person to solve the problem. And if you make sure that every guest in the end leaves the hotel happy and that problems are solved, then they're much more likely to also share this on Booking, on Google, on whatsoever. But secondly, I also find it important, what you see happening a lot, and I think Andreia could react on that, is that you should not use those standard templates that are provided by a lot of hotel chains. Thank you for your stay. We've noticed that you had a problem. We've tackled this. Please come back. It's go above and beyond. Make sure you genuinely care about your guests and that you take their problem serious.
And you're putting the responsibility also in the line, in the operation. Responding to reviews, for instance, is that done by you or does someone from the operational floor?
No, in my hotel, front office takes care of responding to all the reviews, no matter if they're good or bad. Every guest gets a personalized response, and in the end, I also think you should not do it yourself as a manager, because your team should be involved in reputation management. And if you make sure that they are answering to it, then they make it part of their daily operations and they are daily working on this. And they will also get motivated if they see the 5s coming in or the 10s coming in on the various platforms. And it works very motivating.
And I think I can't agree more. Of course, we as revenue managers are very dependable on what the staff does and the service given. And definitely the point which you state, Thijs, is that the emotional bonding which you can do with a guest is key. Definitely for independent hotels, because the bigger chain hotels, it's they follow the standard routines, the standard instructions, as you say, and the guests become a number. Yeah, if you have more than 200 rooms and you've got 3 receptionists, sorry, but the guest is a number. This is where we can make the difference. And with this emotional bonding, guests will get a bigger satisfaction and therefore will give you a better rating.
Andreia, do you want to respond to this or you want to go to the next question?
No, I think that picking up on what Gijs said first, sorry, Arnaud, there. When you actually work with operations and how your staff handles the guest, I think that's very important, and that it's where your brand reputation starts. It's with your employees. Any company, regardless if we're just a small hotel or a hotel chain, the importance is that your employees, they share your perspective, your values, and that if they actually also feel involved, like you said, they will transmit it to the client. And in the end, you might not even need to pay their stay. What matters is that they trust that their next stay is going to be good enough for them to recommend to other people. And also picking up on what you said, it also reflects on your revenue income, because you don't need to actually offer the stay. Your staff was so willing to help on something else that they will actually come back and recommend it to someone else. So it starts from within inside, and what is that your employees also transmit to your clients, and the trust circle that it's created there, and it translates into revenue, into visits, into bookings. So it's important.
At the end, we're a people industry, and this is very important. You want to add to this, Gijs? Or
Yeah, it's. I'm also not saying that we should give every stay for free. But the staff does have the freedom to do it and to come up with their own solution for a problem. And of course, in the end, we should try to prevent that problems arise. But it's inevitable that at some points you get complaints, you get negative feedback. But on the other hand, every once in a while, getting a negative review on Booking, on Google, also helps the trustworthiness of your reputation.
Just about empowerment, because I know that definitely from management or owners is like, yeah, but the employee giving away. What's your experience in that? Are they making irrational decisions, or do you say no? I give them the freedom, and they're making generally the right decision on that.
So far, they've never given away a full stay. I have done that actually quite a few times, but it's now you talk about a free dinner, free parking. What they in the end offer? It's things they offer which come at a very low cost in the end.
We go to the next question. Andreia, of course, it's always interesting to hear what Google will do and what the strategy is. Can you tell a little bit about the products of Google to protect your brand? What can you advise the hoteliers here?
Yes, so it starts, and where you can actually have control, it starts with Google My Business. That is where actually you can convey your message to the world in the free way. It's also important, and how you build your Google My Business is very important. How you have your location set in maps. That, by the way, now maps will tell you what is the most sustainable way to get from place to place. So that it's also something that you can sign up to and say, we're just 5 minutes from Central Station walking, so save some carbon emission there.
We saw a lot of sustainability on this trade show, so this is a good one.
So that it's one of the things that you can add there. Also add photos of your hotel rooms, from your staff even from your menus in your hotel restaurant, if you have them, or your breakfast. Those are things that will actually improve the quality of, how do I put it, of your message, so that it's something that will drive more brand awareness. And with this, you will be able to manage this awareness. How can you manage? We'll be discussing reviews, so that you also have the ability to answer to reviews. And I think you have a good strategy. You always reply to the good and the bad ones. That it's very important, because I believe that people, and this is a very personal opinion, if people only see 5-star reviews, that becomes weird. But if you see that it's balanced, not that you will not get the 5-star average in the end, but there is always someone that it's unpleasant. In Portuguese, we say that we cannot please Trojans and Greeks, so we'll never be able to please everybody. So own, in a way, your reviews, reply to them. If they are fake, there are also some mechanisms. You can contact Google and ask them to be removed. There is also mechanisms to prevent these things from happening. I know from information that Patrice shared earlier that it's something that hotels suffer a lot. I think you also have it in big chains, but it's easier if you have more volume of good reviews to make this unnoticed. So it's also very important that you manage this directly. So all of these mechanisms that we have available for you can help you protect your reputation and send out the message that you want to your potential clients.
But besides responding to all, you also should respond in a timely manner.
Yeah.
It's you see happening quite often that people only react after a week or after 2 weeks, where I say every guest should have a reaction within 48 hours.
I think that's a good one. And what I see myself, we work a lot with Google as an integration partner. Some latest developments in the hotel ads program where the free booking links were introduced. I think this can be something to get more direct bookings because, well, obviously everyone is interested here to save commission costs and also to get more direct business. What can you tell about this program or other products to stimulate direct bookings?
So what we have, it's what you just mentioned, the free direct booking links. That it's also something that you can subscribe from your Google My Business. It will send you direct traffic, and it's also free and free of commissions. And it's something that pairs well even with hotel ads and Google ads if you would be doing this all together. So the combination of them works pretty well. But if you only want to also invest on the free hotel listings, it's quite easy. It's also important that you share the information that you also share in Google My Business to make your message coherent. And then you will also, well, if someone searches for Amsterdam and that is where you are located and that's where you choose to also be shown, then you will also appear. So I think it's one of the ways that in the past 2 years Google was thinking on how we can actually help the travel ecosystem, and I think it's a very good offer.
I think maybe everybody knows about the hotel ads program, but these are the prices you see in Google Maps, for instance, and other Google products. And what we saw lately is that there's a free line if you are working with an integrated booking partner of Google, that these prices are there. And if people click on it and they make a booking direct, then you don't pay the commission. Of course, as hoteliers, we advise as well to do a cost per click campaign or a commission per booking campaign, and then you get more traffic on the hotel ads program, also to protect your brand online. But I think this is the paid part, but it's good to mention the free elements Google is offering, I think, today. Can you tell a little bit more about developments in the travel vertical? Are there any developments to share, or about the analysis?
Well, recently, and again during the pandemic, we not only started offering some free products, like you mentioned, but we also have some of our travel trends also available to public. If you want to understand who are the people that are searching to travel to Amsterdam, you can also understand who your clients could be, where they come from. So these type of trends are also made available in Google, from Google. So you can actually search online Google travel trends, and you will have access to this data. This is also data that we've been sharing with our partners from flights and accommodation. So it's something that we've made publicly and free available in the past year.
And Andreia, this is like how markets are develop. So if there's a bigger demand coming, you can see this with Google Trends. Really interesting to see, I think. Gijs?
No, definitely, especially when we go 2 years back in time, when at the beginning of the Corona crisis, when there was no demand anymore and there was no pickup, we still wanted to see, okay, is there anything coming? And we did it by using Google Trends for searching for flights to Amsterdam, trains to Amsterdam, how is those, or hotels in Amsterdam. And you can see a curve if over time, over the last 5 years, how it develops. And in the end, although there was no pickup, you can still see what's happening in the market.
Yeah, very interesting one. And I think also for revenue management, I know if you put the prices up or down, or if you're working with a revenue management system.
Yeah, definitely, it's nice to see definitely the trends and the waves, the reservations, or people are interested in your area, looking at flights when they're coming, and their search patterns. Because we're not so much looking especially anymore at the booking patterns, but we're also focusing on the search patterns. When are they searching for which date and which area and through which ways? And we can even look at a certain point, how long is somebody looking for to land at Schiphol and then depart from Schiphol again, and which areas, well in this case Amsterdam for instance, are they actually searching for to stay? So yeah, definitely important for us to keep an eye on. Yeah.
Gijs, you already mentioned a bit like that it's very important to respond fast to a review. Are there any other do's or don'ts you do at the Pestana chain?
Well, be open and honest. It's if you make a mistake, be open and honest about it. It's okay to make mistakes and own it and yeah, make sure you correct it moving forward. I think that's the most. It's very common to do that, but it's also the most obvious one.
And do you have systems in place to measure it, or how does it work in a hotel chain like Pestana?
Yeah, we use a system called Review Pro that basically combines data from Google, from Booking, from Expedia, but also our own guest satisfaction system. It turns it into a blended quality score, which we can also again benchmark against our comp set, and that gives you also an idea how you are doing in the end, and give your teams targets. I had a funny thing a couple of weeks ago where we scored 92.1% over a period of a week, and as a joke I made to my team, hey, the next time when we do 94%, I buy everyone cake. A week later, 94%.
You have to increase it then even more maybe. Okay, nice. Andreia, we go back to you. Of course, like ranking is a interesting one. Everybody's focusing on a better ranking and more visibility in Google. Can you influence it, the ranking and the visibility, in a positive way for the direct channel, for instance?
Yep, you can. The first one will touch the revenue because it's your bid strategy in the Google Ads auction. So that is the one that you can influence on a financial perspective.
Pay more, you mean?
Yep. That is the first way. But then you have the second way, and I think that's what relates with brand reputation, what we're talking about here. So it's actually how your ad works in a way. The first one is how many people actually click your ads. Is it something that it's relevant for what people are searching? So if people actually land on your website and they stay there, if they click and they make all of the journey to your website, that will improve what we call your ad quality. So having a relevant ad, having your link, your mobile phone, that is something that helps in the rank. But one that I believe that it's not always talked about has to do with the landing experience on your website. If people land on your website and they just bounce back after 5 seconds, you will be flagged as a low quality brand in a way, because brand reputation, it's also connected with how long people will stay on your website. One small trick that you can do on mobile is just to make sure that your landing page loads in less than 5 seconds, because we humans behave like a goldfish when we're looking at our phones. After 3 minutes, after 3 seconds, if it's not loaded, we're out to the second one, right? It's the same that we do in Instagram when we go to the next video if we're not laughing after a few seconds. So it's the same with your ads, and it's the same when you actually open your website. So this is something that it might cost you some money, but on the development side, but not on your marketing. It will improve the experience of your clients. They will stay longer on your website. They will add more things to the chart. They will make more bookings, and more bookings means more conversions. So the more direct traffic you can get to your website that actually does not bounce, that is something that you can do to improve your ad ranking. It also gives you a good reputation, and it's not something that it will be very costly in the end. It's a small investment. And it's something that you can track with Google Analytics, that it's also another free product. You can actually see where people are bouncing back or falling in your website. So that it's also something that you can look at, your behavior on the website and how people are using it and moving forward or not. And try to improve these small pain points, because if people are booking online, if they go through your business, 50% of people actually want to book when they're searching for your brand specifically. They already want to book it and they want to book it now. So get rid of all of these pain points, make your website much better. Also for mobile, that's where we see lots of booking coming, and you will get better results, I promise you. You don't need to increase your bids in the end.
And from another side, we can also push people to book directly with you. Definitely, when you've got a good reputation, is simply to either close the OTAs during high demand times or very high demand times, or set a minimum stay while on your own website you're open per night booking or things like that. So there are more ways than just waiting for people to find you. You can also, in a nice, slight way, just guide them in the right direction. Book with us directly, and avoid the things which we don't like, which is called commission.
I think as a Google integration partner with hoteliers, I also heard for the hotel ads program that, for instance, the own website has the highest conversion. So if you have like the name official website of those kind of things on it, that people or guests intend to click on it and they really like this. And sometimes I hear stories from hoteliers say, booking.com will do the bid. They will click on this anyway, but you will be surprised how many people are really searching for this direct channel as long as you are making it visible and optimized.
And we're always, by the OTAs, there are account managers who say, oh, you have to update this and update that, and we're quite busy on that. We always want the 95% score on our extranet for Expedia, Booking, and all the other ones. But actually, you should put that time in your own website. And that's something we constantly have to move onward and realize that, it's nice that the other travel agencies have the best settings, but it's your own website which needs to come out as best.
I agree. That is the part that I was mentioning. But also, if you improve the channels of direct traffic from Google Maps, even from Google itself, using Google My Business, then you have this entire flow that will also give you direct traffic. And the same with the OTAs. The more information you share to your clients, within pictures, opening hours, special menus, discounts, you can see all of this. The more communication you have with your clients, the better it is, and it will drive you more traffic.
I think this is also a thing the hoteliers were telling me in these in-depth interviews in the preparation to this show. They have all a good website, a good system that they can actually change content and optimize it. But before the questions, I want to have one more question and go to social media, because I think this brand awareness in social media, there are also a lot of do's and don'ts. Arnaud, can you explain a bit about this?
Let's start with focusing on the don'ts, because we all get everyday mails like, oh, I'm this and this person, I've got 1,000 followers, and then you have to reply, say, okay, my grandma does better than that, so just move away. Always in for free stays, free things. And even if they have, 100,000, 1 million followers, nice, but they need to be the followers which are your target group. Yeah, so followers on food or whatever, and you're a standalone hotel without any restaurant, it doesn't work. So you have to make sure that they reach that target group which also you're aiming for. Otherwise, it's absolutely no use. Next to that, make it measurable. Yeah, because they promise to make some nice pictures and do their story and share it and all. But is it measurable? Or look how many reclicks they get and likes and response they get on previous outings. And next to that, if they come over and if they do something for you, add a promotional code. So you can actually measure what that person has given you in direct sales. Yeah, through that promotional code.
I think like it's interesting to look also at the website of the Independent Hotel Show about these interviews, and I think one of the specialists on social media, what I explained a little bit earlier, was Michelle Sandberg. She does a lot with influencers, for instance, in her hotel, and she had some amazing stories with a YouTuber who coincidentally came into her hotel with like 1.5 million followers. And she still has people on the reception desk knowing they're from YouTube. So sometimes it's also not something you expect, but it can be a very powerful channel.
It made me happy as a revenue manager there.
Okay, like maybe a final question in terms of advices. Can you give an advice for hoteliers who wants to make a few steps into a better reputation or protecting their brands online? Guys? Or someone else can start.
We already covered a lot, so give me a moment, please.
I think of genuine hospitality. Make sure your staff is genuinely interested in your guest. Not just a number, not just when they come back, you know, from being outside of the hotel, ask them and be genuinely interested. That's what makes the difference between you're just a guest or you're really a wanted guest. I really believe that the best reviews are the ones which guests really felt taken serious, taking as an individual, and being helped, of course, on all sides. So.
Andreia?
No, I agree. There is nothing better to online than the offline behavior, that it's then reflected in the reviews that you have. So I believe that it's very good. And do manage don't forget all of your online channels where you're communicating. Either it is Instagram or Google Ads or something else that you're also using, so even for direct traffic. Even when you choose your affiliates or vice versa. All of this, it's something that you need to analyze. And in one of the questions, we said something earlier. I believe you said now you need to understand the followers of the influencer that you're looking to, and that it's important as well to focus on the audiences that you want to reach. What are the personas that you are searching for? Is it more business travel? Is it families? Make sure that you also understand who are your guests, who are your potential guests, and who you want to capture when you're looking into online, and make sure that you build this trust system, always believing that your staff, it's your best message, for sure.
And lastly, but certainly not least, your role as a manager, as an owner on guest satisfaction and guest reputation is only this. Make sure you use your team. They speak daily to 20, 50, 100 guests, depends on the size of your hotel. But my impact on guest satisfaction is so limited. So be there for your team, talk to your team, and be appreciative for what they do.
And involve them in it. Okay, then I think some very nice insights we had today. I'm very curious if there are some questions for our panelists. Yes.
Thank you for the panel discussion. So marketers and politicians are often say there's no such thing as bad publicity. My question to you is kind of a downer, but I'm curious if you have any data or if you have any insights on the impact that a data breach has on property reputation. So news of a data breach or cyber.
It's interesting that to raise the question. We had a panel discussion this morning about guest data. And there was a lecturer from the Hotel School The Hague doing communication and information. And it was like, at one hand, we are searching for customer data, and we want this as a hotelier. And at the other hand, you have the restrictions and the protection, of course, of this data. And I think, like, as a hospitality industry, where we still have something to cover as steps. Sometimes, for instance, when a couple of years ago, I came into hotels and they still have the credit card data in maps behind the reception in it, or those kind of elements. So I think like breaches is like a thing like that makes us also aware and conscious how important this is as a hotel to work that and to see the procedures. So, but those are interesting insights. Maybe someone of the panelists has to add something to it.
I'm not. You're looking for the general data, right? Or just because I think companies like Review Pro, you know, they've got so many hotels definitely in the European region. They should have those data. So talk to these kind of companies to say, listen, you know, you've got all the data. What does this do? What can you give us? But I think they should have that.
Thank you for the insight. Very nice. I have a question for Arnaud and for Andreas. I heard you're talking about causality between revenue and the reviews, and I was wondering, since Google and other companies have so much data, I was wondering what is actually the most optimal review when you base the 2080 rules. That means you put 20% of the effort to get 8% of the result. So when you already have a 9 and you have to put more effort to get a 9.1. So I was just wondering if you put all this data into your machine, and I was wondering, is there a optimal review that you say, hey, I reach 8.5, I have to do so much extra effort to get a higher review, and I already get the best revenue based on your effort?
Interesting question. I don't know who wants to answer it.
Shall I start? It's first of all, it's dependable on what type of hotel you run. Yeah, it is. Of course, I always say the higher the better. But of course, there's this cut of okay, we cannot invest more. It's going to cost too much. And I often do quick calculation. Okay, you know, if we raise that much, then we can get asked for that much more. On the other hand, if you're a price fighter, yeah, for instance, you say, okay, I want to do the price competition, and I'm going in low, then you know the difference will be only small. So it and dependable if you have a lot of competitors or less competitors, do you have a brand or do you have a concept which supports your review and your reputation? Because if we go back to the Craftsman, for instance, which is very Instagrammable hotel at a very good location, yeah, a 9.2 or a 9.3, we directly notice the difference, even in those small steps. And with some OTAs, it says, okay, if you're above the 7.8, you're good. If you're above the 8.6, you're excellent, and after 9.3, you're superb. So you also have those steps like you have to reach this, or have to. We'd like to reach this. We'd like to reach that, because people respond to those kind of keywords.
Andreia, do you have something to add to it, or ideas with it?
I would always go for the 5 stars or 10 stars. No, but besides some good reviews, we don't have a number. It's not something that we've been focused, but I will take notes and I will propose this to the travel partners team. But one of the things that you can do to influence it's the brand reputation that we're talking about. It would actually drive more traffic. The best the clients get to know you, know your name, know your brand, and then we are following into the brand awareness, the more direct traffic you will get. By more direct traffic, then we know from lots of studies published that the more traffic you have, the more conversions you will have in the end. So that is how you can connect your brand to your revenue. At least that's how we look at it from an online perspective.
I just want to go back to it. You can also turn it around. So if you have a 9.8 over a year, then your prices weren't high enough. Yeah, so you could have asked more. So but it's also what the owner wants, what the team is capable of. But so you can also see it from a different perspective. If your your rating is too high, or very high, then maybe you should have asked for a higher price.
I think I have also something to add to it. I think you should look as well on the websites you're doing a lot of business with and what their filters are. So for instance, a filter higher than a 9 in Booking.com is a filter which is used quite regularly. So if you're an 8.9, you're not coming up in this filter. It's the same with TripAdvisor, and it's the same with Google. So if you're lower than a 4.5, for instance, with Google, you get less traffic, I think, when you do the filter as a consumer. So for instance, if I go on holiday, I always go for a 9+ hotel on Booking.com, and then I book direct because I go to the own website. But I think these filters are very, very important, and they can influence your traffic.
Hi, so I was wondering, do you have any recommendations in terms of where to kind of direct guests to leave reviews? Like, do you direct them to Google, or do you direct them to TripAdvisor, when you send this like service questionnaires, or when they come up to you and say they want to leave a review and stuff like that?
I think it really depends on who your target market. It really depends on. Can you hear or not?
There's no fire alarm, so we can continue.
I think it really depends on what your source market is. For example, TripAdvisor 10 years ago used to be very European focused, is now very American focused, where my experience is that Google is much more European focused. At least European travelers look more towards Google than towards TripAdvisor. But the problem I'm having with, for example, Google and TripAdvisor is you don't need to be an actual guest to leave a review. So to that extent, Booking.com might be a right source to leave reviews, because you need to have actually stayed at the hotel to be able to leave a review.
I think as well, there are quite some systems for it. Gijs, you were mentioning Review Pro. And within these systems, it gets more smart. So you can give the decision to the guest and give the different links of the different review websites. But you can also stimulate, for instance, one channel. If you don't have a lot of reviews on TripAdvisor and you want to get higher there, then you can stimulate and sending your guests from these systems more TripAdvisor reviews. So I think it would be good to define your markets and to see which guests are important for you, and to see which review portals are working in these markets, and to have enough reviews in this. Also an interesting one, I think, what we should be conscious about is the coming time. There were not that many reviews in Corona time. So, for instance, Booking.com extended the reviews from 2 years to 3 years. And I think we will see the coming time a lot of reviews disappearing, and it could change quite of the positions of the hotel, how many reviews you gathered in it. So all of a sudden you had 400 reviews, and the 1 year is removed then as content or data, and you only have 50 or 60 reviews. So it would be good as well in these portals or review websites to see what your position is and how you can stimulate to get more reviews, so that you keep your position or that you can improve your position.
If I can just add something. Also think what comes first to your guests. Do they want to go into a different website to see your reviews, or would what they see already in their browser be enough? So how many clicks people have to take to get to the information that they are searching for is also something that counts. So the more visibility you can get, the better in a short amount of clicks.
I think we're there. I want to thank our panel today, Arnaud, Andreia and Gijs, for all the nice information you shared with us. We have a nice goodie bag, and please have an applause for them.